Thank you, Noriko. Goodness, it's absolutely fascinating. It sounded more like temple bells than metal chopsticks. I'm sure there's a much grander name for them than that. Quite an exquisite sound. Particle of Water, excerpt from Yoshihiro's Kano's piece that he wrote for Noriko. Do they have a more sacred name than chopsticks, or do you just call them chopsticks?
Chopsticks, but it is made by a man called Mr. Myochin. And this Myochin family has been going on for about 50 generations, and they've always made this kind of metal. So when he hit, well, in old days they were making Japanese swords, but then after politics changed, when the samurai era finished, they were not really allowed to make any more swords. So they changed over to this kind of artistic pieces of metal. And but even today, when he makes them, he has to wear white kimono and he has to clean himself with very cold water, and then he starts hitting the metal.
It's extraordinary, isn't it?
Yes, it is quite a ritual, I think.
Well, ritual, but also I think respect for the material and what it can do, which is extraordinary. 50 generations, wow.
Yes.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Can you, I mean, going right back to early Japanese music, can you trace a path in the contemporary music that you commission right back to ancient Japanese music?
Actually, of course, we use pentatonic scales, so it is a bit different. The basic and also notation is very different, but it is always somehow it just always comes through this Japaneseness, whatever the scale that we use. So in that respect, yes, some sort of heart sort of thing, feeling and some sort of interpretation, and that always comes through as Japanese music, I think, whatever instrument we use. But having, of course, this kind of pure Japanese sound, it does help. It does help everybody.
But there's such a respect for the art form, whether it's this or whether it's the tea ceremony. You take time to let things breathe, I think, don't you? Whether it's music or gardens or anything else. That's
probably true. Yes, this kind of silence and holding back the emotion, and then express yourself through this kind of ritual. I think it's quite important. Going back to this kind of earthquake and tsunami thing, that I know that a lot of people were really quite amazed that those people who evacuated and they lost everything, they lost houses, they lost a lot of family members, and they still seem to be very calm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, northeast of Japan, people are known to be like that. They're really known for their endurance, and they hold back their emotion. But I think that kind of thing, it really shows this kind of quietness, taking time, being organized, and not showing terrible emotion in front of other people. It comes through.
Well, it's back to consideration too, because just looking at some of the pictures, it was very orderly. People weren't trying to trample on someone else. You know, there was a consideration for another person that we could all, I think, learn from. I wonder if that made it more difficult for you then to embrace the rather wilder shores of Western classical music, did it?
No. I was always quite a outgoing child, and I always wanted to play the piano. So, no, I didn't have. Well, I'm not very orderly in a way.
Orderly enough, and you still got the connection. The hall you're connected with at home is and that's fine. That's all okay.
Oh yes. Well, my family is fine, but some friends were missing for quite some time. But I was told that they were found, but quite a lot of them lost houses. So it is very difficult really to come to terms with it. I cannot. Well, for once this time, I really didn't want to come back to the UK. I wanted to stay in Japan, and I wanted to fight with my people. Yeah. But this idea, somebody pushed my back, is why don't you play a fundraising concert in London? And that gave me a reason to fly over. Because in Japan now, especially in Tokyo area, we have power cuts, so we cannot put concerts on because it takes a lot of electricity. So I could not possibly. Some of my concerts were cancelled immediately, so I cannot put any fundraising concerts in Japan at the moment. So I had to fly over to do it. So
well, that's resourceful, and it's next Wednesday at King's Place in London. Well, Noriko, thank you for coming in to play for us. You finished with Beethoven, who's a man, of course, lived in turbulent times.
Exactly.
Napoleon knocking at the gate, and he didn't know whether he was going to survive or not, and of course going through his deafness. So all great artists know
exactly
what it is,
yes, Beethoven,
and they transcend it somehow. They
exactly.
transcend human suffering.
Yes, I wanted to play Beethoven because he is the composer who does this human resurrection sort of thing. So I really wanted to play.
And thank you for so doing, Noriko, very much indeed. So I think it's the first movement of the Piano Sonata, number 30 in E, opus 109. Noriko, always a pleasure. Thank you very much. The opening of the Piano Sonata number 13E, opus 109 by Beethoven. Very appropriate, as he was a great humanitarian, really. And Noriko's special Japan appeal concert in aid of the British Red Cross Japan Tsunami appeals at King's Place in London, 7:30 next Wednesday. And there'll be all of the Beethoven and Chopin, Takemitsu and Kano and Debussy as well. She's at Parr, Bold in Lancashire on the 2nd of April and Ripon Cathedral in Yorkshire on the 4th. But the big appeal concert is next Wednesday. And thank you very much for playing for us and for bringing, I think, the situation so vividly to life for all of us. It's 18 minutes to 7 o'clock.